This is an exercise that's going to improve supination, range of motion, and strength and mobility. So you're going to need a PVC pipe, broomstick, fancy dowel rod, whatever you want to use that's sturdy. And then I like to also use a yoga block to decrease any shoulder compensations. So to set this up, you're going to put the yoga block on your side and glue your elbow to said yoga block so that when we are practicing doing the movements, we are only getting it from the actual elbow, which would be your actual forearm moving. So for supination, that is this movement, that is turning the bottom of your forearm up towards the ceiling. We are going to keep an elbow bent at about 90 degrees here, and then grab the dowel rod or PVC pipe. The key here is to really have a strong grip with the arm that you are loading, and then your other hand is going to pull you in to the maximal amount of supination possible. So strong grip here, pull yourself into supination. You should feel a little bit of a stretch that might kind of go in across the forearm into the elbow here. You might feel some wrist stuff. We just don't want to feel any pain or any pinching on the outside of your elbow. Once you're there, if your goal is to improve your flexibility and range of motion, we're gonna hold that for the prescribed amount of time, anywhere starting at 30 to 60 seconds, but really working up towards that 2-minute mark. Once that's done, we are gonna do some PAILs and rails to build strength at our end ranges, or if you're doing PAILs and rails only, you're skipping the stretch and jumping right into the PAILs and rails. The PAILs and rails are going to be contracting into pronation first, but you're not gonna let it move because your hand is gonna hold here. So the idea is doing this motion, trying to turn your bottom of your forearm back towards the ground, but again, you're not gonna let it move. So we're gonna find that end range of motion. We're gonna try to turn the dowel rod back down into this hand. You're gonna ramp that intensity up slowly. So start very minimal, just find those muscles, and then ramp the intensity up to the desired intensity over 10 or 15 seconds. We're gonna hold at that point for about another 10 to 15 seconds, and then we're gonna ramp the contraction down. You should feel a lot of those muscles that were being stretched contract. Now we're gonna start the rails contraction. The rails contraction is you actively trying to pull yourself into more supination. So that would be like trying to turn your bottom of your forearm up towards the ceiling or even over towards the wall to the left side if that's the side you're doing, you're loading. So for that, you're actually probably not gonna have any movement. You're just gonna feel the outside elbow and forearm stuff contract. So you're gonna start light and you're gonna ramp that intensity up to the desired intensity over 10 or 15 seconds, hold for 10 or 15 seconds, and then you're gonna ramp down. You might have another round of PAILs rails depending on what you're doing that day, or that might be done, but that would be one round of PAILs rails after the stretch if you're holding it, and then you can slowly come out of the position. You might feel some tension and some sensations in your forearm, like an elbow, like you just worked it, but you shouldn't have any pain or pinching during those. So that is going to be your elbow supination stretch with PAILs rails.